Hello, welcome to another Mega Marathon review. Many of us have that one game that is quintessentially part of our childhood. One game that outshines all of them. Well, to me, that game is
Super Mario Bros. 3, released in 1988 in Japan and 1990 in the US. Many people got their first look at this game, as well as one of its most infamous secrets in the movie, The Wizard.
Mario Brothers 3!
This is the long-awaited sequel to Super Mario Bros. That the fans wanted. Similar to the original, but with more levels, power-ups, moves, enemies, and more. It took all the elements of the first one and improved upon it in every way.
This is my favorite game of all time. I love this game so much. I bought the Famicom version. Look at these cartridges. They're so tiny.
We're looking at the Wii U Virtual Console version. Let's get to the story. It's slightly more complex this time. Peace has come to the Mushroom Kingdom following the events of Super Mario Bros. However, Bowser's children have taken over the 7 surrounding kingdoms. Mario and Luigi are tasked to bring peace to the lands. In the meantime, Bowser kidnaps the princess while Mario and Luigi are away.
Now apparently, the Koopalings aren't Bowser's children. Now this comes from Mr. Miyamoto himself. But the US manual explicitly states that they are Bowser's kids, so what I gather is that Bowser Jr., who will appear in later games as Bowser's biological son, and the Koopalings are essentially adopted children.
Also, one more story element is left. Notice how some stage elements are hanging from the ceiling and bolted to the background. Notice how elements cast a shadow on the background. The game opens with a curtain rising and ends with a curtain lowering. Miyamoto also confirmed that the events of Super Mario Bros. 3 are a stage play, and that Mario and the crew are a troupe of actors. This explains how they can fight each other in the main games, but still go and play golf or throw a party. That's enough about the story and how our understanding of the Mario cast has changed. Let's get to the controls. They've been fine-tuned to what I consider near perfection. The player has great control over Mario and Luigi's movement and jump while in the air. One new ability is to hold shells and use them to hit other enemies or blocks. You can't kick it up in the air though, you'll have to wait to the next game to do that. You can slide down hills too. Otherwise, it's the same as previous titles, except that Mario and Luigi control exactly the same, just like the original. More control setups arrive with power-ups, and does Super Mario Bros. 3 have a lot? Mushrooms, Fire Flower, Starman, and 1-ups return from the original. However, the new major power-up is the Raccoon Leaf. It gives the player a silly raccoon tail that can be used to kill enemies or hit blocks. Not only that, if the player can fill the P meter at the bottom by running, the player can fly for a short time, and by mashing A, the player can slowly glide. One thing that always really bothered me was that you could shoot fireballs underwater, but you can't swing your tail, because fireballs underwater makes the most sense. Also, there's 3 costume suits for Mario and Luigi as well. The frog suit makes swimming a breeze, but it's basically useless out of water. The Tanuki suit acts exactly like the raccoon tail, except that by holding down and B, the player can turn into a statue to avoid or kill enemies. Finally, there's the Hammer Brothers suit, which gives Mario the powers of the Hammer Brothers. Finally, revenge, sweet revenge! Unlike any Mario games before it, Super Mario Bros. 3 has an item inventory system that they can access through the map. Oh yeah, there's a map. It allows you to enter levels, of course, but certain levels are represented by world-specific themes, like quicksand in this case, or a tower in that case. Then there's fortresses, that also rid the map of locks when destroyed. Along the way, there are mushroom houses, which act basically as a free item, spade houses, which give free lives, but are essentially useless unless you've got excellent timing, and occasionally end cards, which contain a matching card game with free items. Also, Hammer Brothers will move around the map. Landing on them will initiate a battle. If two players land on the same spot, they can play a game of classic Mario Brothers against each other. Extremely rarely, you'll access a white mushroom house, which contains very rare items. To get them to appear, you have to have a certain number of coins on a specific level in the world. And then, if you play on Friday the 13th, that also coincides with the alignment of the planets and play on a TV sold between the years of 1985 to 1991, then you have a 1 in 42 chance of accessing the coin ship, which has coins. Actually, it has something to do with your coins matching up with a certain digit of your score.
Well, that's just so simple.
Anyway, let's get back to items. There are certain items that can only be accessed from your inventory before you start a level. These include Jugum's Cloud, which lets you skip a level, the Magic P-Wing, which allows you to fly through one level of your choice and gives you a free raccoon suit, the Hammer, which lets you break certain blocks on the map, the Music Box, which puts Hammer Brothers to sleep for a few turns, the Anchor, which stops an airship from moving, and the Magic Whistle, which allows you to warp to other worlds. And yes, that's the same whistle sound from The Legend of Zelda.
Jeez, that's just the items in the map system. It's just Super Mario Bros. 3 added so much content. Let's just get to the gameplay.
To start a level, you simply go to a stage and tap A. Simple. The player must traverse through the level while avoiding enemies. Again, nothing new here. In fact, on paper, it's just like the original Super Mario Bros., but there's so much more. The key thing here is variety. Super Mario Bros. 3 is split into 8 worlds, each varying in length. We have Grassland, Desert Land, Waterland, Giant Land, Skyland, Iceland, Pipeland, Darkland, Disneyland, Mario Land, Spaceland, Land Acquisition Act of 1894. Hold on, that last one seems kind of fishy. Grassland is your basic, simple opening world. Desertland implements larger levels and more places to explore. Waterland is the water world. Nope, get that off the screen. It's a bad joke. It was stupid. Thank you. Waterland incorporates underwater levels, as well as those rising water levels with everybody's favorite man-eating fish, Boss Bass.
That was the scariest enemy little baby Jacob had ever seen. Those zombies from Resident Evil 2, oh. Those spider creatures from Soul Reaver, okay, those were unsettling, no, those were scary. But, a man-eating fish?
Giant Land has some huge enemies and blocks. It's cool to see such big sprites on the NES. Skyland, which is my favorite because of the shoe. It lets you jump on anything, so Munchers, you can suck it. Iceland has slippery platforms. It's probably the hardest world. Pipeland has some mazy fun, and Bowser's Domain is Dark World. Anyway, each world has a specific theme, and most levels tend to follow that theme. However, each level has its own unique feel to it, and that's why I enjoyed this game so much. In Mario 1 and 2, the levels looked all pretty similar, or had similar set pieces to follow a theme. Whereas Mario 3 keeps constantly unique levels coming. For instance, the Ice World generally has, of course, all ice levels. However, they all have a unique feeling. This one has a unique enemy, this one has platforms to ride, this one has meltable blocks. The levels are designed to have their own feel and are always easily recognizable. That's the brilliance of this game. However, a few levels are always generally the same. For instance, while fortresses can go from simple to lava-filled to ice to maze-like, they all end with a fight against Boom Boom. And at the end of most worlds, you'll have an airship. These showcase Mario 3's new gimmick, auto-scrolling levels. These all end in a fight with one of the Koopalings. That's not to say that auto-scrollers don't show up elsewhere. They're everywhere, from regular levels to tanks and ships. There's even that dreaded underwater auto-scroller. At the end of all regular levels is a spade card. Collecting it adds a card to your score area. Matching 3 of a kind can score you 2, 3, or 5 lives for mushrooms, fire flowers, and stars, respectively. Non-matching cards still result in a 1-up. And with the new levels comes an assortment of new music from Koji Kondo, once again bringing an upbeat, wonderful, and memorable soundtrack to Mario. And Super Mario Bros. 3 also sports new enemies, but I'll only mention those who've remained a large part of the series. Meet the Paragoomba. This is a new flying variant of the Goomba that drops little micro Goombas which limit Mario's jump. There's Boo, the shy ghost that only attacks when the player's back is turned. The Chain Chomp, a dog-like enemy tied to a chain. Rocky Wrench, who hides underground and throws wrenches. Dry Bones is a mummified turtle. Then there's the Thwomp, which typically just drops straight down, but can move in other directions. The Venus Fire Trap, which shoots fireballs at Mario. Munchers, which any Kaizo Mario fan will recognize. And 3 new variants of Hammer Brothers. The Boomerang Brother, which throws boomerangs. The Fire Brother, which throws, fire. And the Sledge Brother, which is a larger version of the Hammer Brother, which when it hits the ground can cause an earthquake which will stun Mario. That's not all the enemies either, but as Ludwig von Koopa once said, we've got more guys helping us besides these, but don't tell Mario. Speaking of Ludwig, we of course have the Koopalings. They're all named after famous musicians. You have Larry Koopa, Morton Koopa, Wendy O. Koopa, Iggy Koopa, Roy Koopa, Lemmy Koopa, and Ludwig von Koopa. You see, the Koopalings stole the magic wands from the kings of the surrounding kingdoms and transformed them into some kind of creature. When fighting, they will use these wands against you and are pretty easy, except Wendy with her candy cane rings of death. After defeating a Koopa Kid, the princess will send you a letter and an item, and you move on to the next world. Lather, rinse, repeat. After saving the 7th kingdom, Bowser informs you that he's kidnapped the princess and taken her to his castle. So we enter the final world, Darkland, after clearing out tanks, boats, and...
Whoa! Bad touch! No, we're done. No, banned. We're banned. It's over. We're done. That was fun. It was fun while it lasted.
You eventually reach Bowser's castle, complete with lasers. It pays an excellent homage to the original, with fireballs flying across through the level as you get closer to Bowser. And finally... King of Koopas himself. He's actually a cakewalk, especially since the only part of his body that can hurt you is his head. After playing a quick game of one-sided Breakout with Bowser, it's over. There she is. Princess. All this time, what have I been doing? What have I been working for? Just to say... Nah, she's just kidding around. That's really her. The curtain call begins, showing all the previous worlds. And just like that, it's over. With excellent level design, fun power-ups, new enemies, new worlds, and not to mention that wonderful soundtrack by Koji Kondo. It's easy to see why Super Mario Bros. 3 is one of the greatest games ever composed. I just wanted to thank you for sticking around for Super Mario Bros. 3. If you liked it, go ahead and assault the like button. And if you want to see more videos that follow the Mario series, why not hit that subscribe button? I'm trying to hit as many Mario games as I possibly can. Thanks for watching.